I've got some breaking news for you as we're going after the SEC. That's right, XRP fans. They first said, yo, we're good with the ETF, that big basket one, and then they denied it. Grayscale saying, yo, you messed up. You got to approve it. You're past the time limits. We're also going to talk price action of our favorites, XRP, HBAR, and others. Also, Tether delisting. Why? Because certain things aren't popular. And when you're not hot, spicy, naughty, and relevant, you get...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Now we got some of our favorites pulling back a little bit, but the move is healthy. Why? Because we freaking shot up like a darn rocket ship, everyone. We're also seeming to get some foot, and we'll talk price action at the end, but yes, we're going after the SEC. Why is this a big deal? Because this would be the first spot XRP ETF. Yes, everyone. That one that they approved that they then said, nah, we're not going to approve it. Well, guess what? Well, we'll get into it. But before we get into it, your comments come first. Why? Because you're the viewer of Matter Most. Frankie D says, good morning and happy Friday, everyone. That's right. Happy Friday to y'all. I kind of forgot today was Friday. Let's keep taking off. Klaus would be cool chowing down on some Portillos, watching the Crosstown Classic when it happens. Go Cubs. This weekend is the White Sox anniversary of their World Series weekend. My wife is actually at the game to watch the Mark Burley statue being unveiled. Shout out to my wife. I'm watching the doggies. Yeah, dad duty. Poopy Squarepants, love the name, says keep up the great work and funny content. Also dropping support on the channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Michael Harvey dropping support on the channel as well, saying thank you. Well, thank you for the support, and you're very welcome. I'm happy to bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. All right, let's take a look at the heat map real quick and kind of see what's going on. Bitcoin 117, ETH under 3, XRP under 3, ADA under 75, Doge under 21, HBAR, yeah, under 20 cents. We'll talk about more price, but first, Bitcoin breaks a new all-time high as what? Yes, IBIT breaks a new ETF record. BlackRock shares Bitcoin Trust broke its ETF record last night, surpassing 80 billion in assets under management. This was yesterday. So do you know what's going to happen tomorrow when we do the news? We're going to report on another record, baby. Now look at this chart. This is freaking cool. Okay, this right here shows you these ETFs and how long it took for them to get to the 80 billion mark. Look, IBIT, BlackRock's took 374 days. VU took 1,800 days. IEFA took 2,034. You had a whole bunch of them here, which took way, way longer. But now, this was before the all-time high of today, which is juicier than what we saw of yesterday. So we're going to be breaking all-time highs again and again. Tether to sunset USDT on Omni and others in a tactical purge. For real, if you're not being used, crypto just gets rid of you. Yeah, I was trying to do my best Hecklefish impersonation. Remember when Hecklefish talks about like the Clintons and yeah, I'm trying to do my best Hecklefish there for the Wi-Fi fans out there. But for real, Tether is like, yo, if you're not going to really like use our products on these chains, we'll just yank them. Tether X USDT support on 5 blockchains in a calculated move to trim fat from its multi-chain footprint. Now, what's shocking, though, is one of these is a really, really, really big chain. Tether announced on July 11th, that's today, breaking news, hit that subscribe button, that it will discontinue support for its stablecoin on 5 chains, including Omni, Bitcoin Cash SLP, Kusama EOS, and Algorand. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff, isn't it, everyone? Oh, and by the way, the Tether announcement, it's all listed in the description down below. Essentially what happens is this. If a product just isn't being used, it's not profitable, why waste resources on it? They get rid of it. Makes sense, doesn't it? Robinhood faces scrutiny over misleading crypto fee claims. Did someone lie in crypto? And then we're going to talk about Grayscale going after the SEC. I freaking love it. All right, here we go. This is what happened. They're saying the Attorney General of Florida is looking into Robinhood because he says the company lied to customers saying its crypto services were the lowest alternative. You can't advertise something and not be real about it. The investigation is focused on the company's use of payment for order flow, which some say hides the real expenses of trading. The probe is mostly about Robinhood's strategy, which lets third parties pay the platform to send trades through them. Basically what happened is this. Robinhood said, yo, we're the lowest cost one out there, and the Attorney General of Florida is like, that might be a lie, so we're going to investigate you. Just thought I would throw that out there because you got to remember, what are exchanges all about? They're all about making what, everyone? The money. And what's all important about making the money? The volume. And volume right now in crypto is absolutely juicy AF. Just throwing it out there. Now, that being said, I did want to share something with you real quick. This, Grayscale challenges the SEC authority over their GDLC ETF delay. Okay, remember that big basket one that was like 80% BTC, like 10% ETH? Like, remember that? It was like mostly BTC and ETH, and it had like a little percentage XRP in it, but it would be then the first spot one in the United States. Then remember the SEC approved it, and then like shortly after they're like, no, we're taking it back. Well, Grayscale is like, you f***ed up, and we're going to call you out on it. Grayscale has formally responded to the SEC's surprise decision to say its approval of the conversion. The asset manager argues that the agency has no legal right to pause the product beyond the deadline set by Congress. Again, I don't give a shit if it's Gary Gensler at the helm or Atkins at the helm. The SEC does not have more power than Congress. The firm insists that under U.S. securities laws, the ETF is now automatically approved and ready to launch. For context, on July 1st, the SEC approved Grayscale's bid to transform its digital large cap fund into an ETF that had ETH, BTC, Cardano, so you know the deal. Okay. However, within hours, the SEC's Office of the Secretary issued a stay rule putting the approval on hold to allow full commission legal review. In its formal letter to the SEC, Grayscale's legal team argues that the commission ran out of time to take further action. They cited Section 19B2D, which sets a 240-day deadline for the commission to disapprove the rule. According to Grayscale, the 240-day window ended on July 2nd, and that they screwed up. Yeah. So again, I go back to, why would you approve it, SEC, if you're then going to stay the approval? Shenanigans. Right now, volume bonkers. Up 80% from yesterday, and yesterday was bonkers. Remember, BTC ETFs, record-breaking day yesterday. It's going to be a record-breaking day today. Volume, 269 billion. Fear and greed index, we're kind of creeping up a little bit. 67 in terms of the greed. Now, why am I highlighting this? Because when was the last time we saw this much greed? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a long time. Technically, we haven't seen this much greed since what, everyone? All the way back here. Now, that being said, HBAR, why am I bringing it up? Because you're starting to see certain players kind of filter under certain price points, which are really rounded out, right? HBAR under the 20 cent right now. Zooming out to the 1 month time, and you're like, bro, you were able to gobble up 13 cent HBAR, and now what? Yeah, rally it to right around that 20 cent mark. Volume for HBAR, 792 million. Absolutely nutso. But what you got to look at is the candlesticks. And we're going to go to the 15-minute, and here's why. Look at all of these right here. This is all right just below 21 cents. And now we're starting to see that settle right around that 20 cent mark. So what you got to ask yourselves on this move right here is buy the rumor, sell the news with Crypto Week coming up. Because remember, this optimism that you're seeing in the market right now is based upon what? Changing regulatory environment. When we started looking at what, everyone? What was the biggest reason for the XRP, HBAR pumps and all that? Changing regulatory environment, right? We got a new presidential shift. So all of a sudden we're like, yo, we're going to get some regs in. That's what caused us in November. So we're getting the second one right here as Crypto Week approaches. So now you got to start asking yourselves, well, wait a minute. Where are we going to settle in at? Are we going to settle in these roundabout numbers like 20 cents? Because look at HBAR fighting right around that 20 cent mark. It's kind of interesting. Now, this is an interesting move, and here's why. I'm going to go to the 1 day, and I'm going to show you exactly why. Because when you zoom out, it's still not super juicy. Don't get me wrong. From the lows we've experienced recently, it's good. But when you zoom out, you're like, oh, so we're just back to where we were May price-wise? Yeah, exactly. We're still not above 25 cents. We're still not above 30 cents. Yeah, so we kind of have a ways to go. But this is a start. And that's why we kind of have to go back to the buy the rumor, sell the news thing. Is that leading into next week? Is next week still going to be buy the rumor, sell the news? Because we won't have regs next week. Next week, they're just going to be talking about their pain points, if they're going to be able to pass the bill cleanly or not. So, do we have more run left in us? Now, that being said, looking at the 15-minute chart here, what can you see? Obvious resistance near that 21-cent mark. But, right now, seems to be juicy overall. So maybe we go into next week with a little bit of more pumperoni. Do we take profits this weekend? Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Now, XRP fans, we're kind of seeing something a little different here on the chart. Let's go to those candlesticks. And this is what I wanted to share with you. Look at the 15-minute candlestick on this one. This is nuts. I was watching this right before I went on to do this video. Look at this. We got darn close up to that $3 mark, 297.31. Now, watch what happens, okay? You had two 15-minute candlesticks back to back, both at 297 and change. So obviously right now, the market is like, yo, XRP, we're not letting you get above $3. But that's okay, because when you zoom out, this is a really, really strong run. But that being said, look at the real strong support that we got here on this low candlestick at 269. We're right now fighting it right around 278. So again, we're trying to find our footing after this move. And the reason it's so important is because when you zoom out, look how bonkers straight up this move is with how much it's tied into the volume right here. And finding the floor is going to be super, super important. But what are we learning with XRP? And I'm going to go to the 1 day on here because this is important. We talked about HBAR, but kind of going back to May. This is XRP taking its way all the way back to March. So, some players in the market are moving harder than others. Some players in the market are clawing back their price, closer to where they were to some of their peaks, right? So, as where HBAR is making that move, go to the 1 day again so you can see it, to kind of claw back to May price period, XRP is climbing all the way back to March. And what's interesting about this is the move you saw in March, right? This was the announcement from Trump in his strategic reserve. XRP sold and ADA was going to be included. And remember, we pumped it and dumped it? Yeah, that's exactly what this candlestick is right here. So we're matching that move. Now, for us to pass that move, we're obviously going to need something more. How can we tell? Well, when you look at the old candlesticks, you can tell that clear as day that, there was an obvious run up, resistance, push down. That's all right, though. The move is early. We've got all next week to be in the news. We know we're going to be talking about all-time highs with BTC, all-time highs with their ETFs. And remember, we've still got lots of juicy things left to come. So, buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, we still don't have the news because guess what? We still don't have the regs. And next week in Congress, I believe it to be more rumor, everyone. Because I believe the news is once they finally sign those regs into law. Now, am I surprised that XRP got pushed down right before we got to the $3 mark? No, because we saw the same thing happen when we had the XRP strategic reserve announcement from Trump on Truth Social. But think about that, though, right? The announcement from Trump got us to that $3 mark, and then we kind of got pushed back down. We also got run up here to that $3 mark based on what? The optimism of regs. And a lot of us out here, okay, are thinking this. Genius Act, probably going to get through, not worried about it. Clarity Act, we might not get that one through. So this is the market pricing in optimism while still knowing that there's some pessimism with the Clarity Act. Yeah, we might have to come up with a whole new regulatory framework because the Clarity Act might not fit what we need. So right now, what's the deal? Well, it's green in my background and green on the screen. Are we going to have rocket ship candlesticks straight up? No, because obviously we're going to face some resistance along the way. Just go look at some of those previous charts and they'll kind of tell you certain key points that you need to look for. Now, what you are noticing though, XRP clawing its way all the way back to March pump action. HBAR pumping its way back to what? May pump action. So some things are pumping harder than others and certain things have more support than others. Just got to keep an eye out on your price targets and make sure you don't get caught up in the emotions of this, because I'm telling you right now, there's going to be players out there taking profits, and there's going to be a whole bunch of players out there spewing all sorts of bullshit of, oh, we're going to 10,000 by Friday. Oh, a strategic reserve that, no. We don't have regs yet. Next week is not going to be about signing regs into law. It's just about discussing the pain points of those regs. Market optimism, everyone. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, we don't have the news yet because we haven't voted on it yet, and we won't be voting on it for a while. My bet is that Genius Act passes. Clarity Act might have some trouble, and either way, choo-choo what? Choo-choo green background, choo-choo green on the screen, choo-choo biz nachos.